Hey guys, Kingdom Airsoft here, and this is an informational video which has been made to help people who are thinking of buying an airsoft gun understand the law and buying requirements. So we're going to be covering airsoft guns, BB guns, air weapons, FPS limits, lasers, remote control toys, and pretty much everything related to airsoft. Now I just want to start by saying there's a lot of information out there which does confuse people, for example on forums or other videos or whatever, and this video just basically clarifies everything, and all the information is taken a lot of time to acquire. It's all correct and it has been gathered from government legislation websites and checked by the Home Office, and this video only relates to the UK law. First of all, it's important to understand the difference between imitation firearms and real imitation firearms. Now, an imitation firearm is officially defined as anything which has the appearance of being a firearm, whether or not it is capable of discharging a shot, bullet, or missile. So this is basically an airsoft or BB gun that doesn't look real. And imitation firearms are sometimes called two-tone or painted guns. As for real imitation firearms, these are officially defined as an imitation firearm which has the appearance that is so realistic as to make it indistinguishable from a real firearm. So basically this is an airsoft or BB gun that looks real. Now, as for defining airsoft guns and BB guns, there is no official definition of an airsoft gun or BB gun. But in the UK, people tend to regard BB guns as generally less detailed, they're lower quality, and they tend to be used for plinking and target practice. Whereas airsoft guns generally have a better build quality, with more functionality, have a higher FPS, and tend to be used for skirmishing. As for air rifles, they are different to airsoft guns, and air rifles are different guns used for hunting. Now, a lot of people regard airsoft guns and BB guns as not actually being toys, but from a legal perspective, they are actually classified as toys. So if you look at the screen now, this is basically the information for our trademark. Kingdom Airsoft is a registered trademark and we own it. And as you can see, under the list of goods, it describes airsoft guns and BB guns. And the important thing here is it lists them under class 28. Now, anything listed under class 28 means it's either a toy or a plaything. So airsoft guns and BB guns are actually classified as toys, but this is only from a legal perspective, and a lot of people do regard them as not being toys. So this is only a legal perspective. And imitation firearms and real imitation firearms are not actually classified as actual firearms. They are imitation firearms. The Firearms Act of 1968 defines an actual firearm as a lethal barreled weapon of any description from which any shot, bullet, or other missile can be discharged. Now, airsoft guns and BB guns are not lethally barreled weapons. Anything that is a lethal barreled weapon, it has a much higher power than airsoft and BB guns, and this will be described later on in the video. But to summarise, airsoft guns and BB guns are not powerful enough to be actual firearms. However, airsoft guns and BB guns should not be treated like toys. Adult supervision is always required when they are used by minors. Eye protection is always required when they're used by anyone, even professionals. Even though they are classified as toys, they should not be treated like toys. So we don't want to give out the wrong message, and we want you to use them safely. Now, before we discuss buying requirements, one other thing to note is spray painting. Now, imitation firearms have been painted at least 51% a bright colour in order to make them look unreal. Now, if you buy an imitation firearm and you convert it into a real imitation firearm, so if you buy an imitation firearm and you paint it black so it looks real, this is actually illegal. However, if you buy a real imitation firearm and you convert it to an imitation firearm, this is legal, and a lot of retailers, including us, have to do this for customers who aren't allowed to buy a real imitation firearm. Now, onto the buying requirements. If you want to buy an imitation or real imitation firearm, first of all, you need to be at least 18 years old. If you're younger than 18, you can't buy an imitation or real imitation firearm. As for real imitation firearms, there is an additional defence required under the Violent Crimes Reduction Act. So the most usual defence is skirmish site memberships. So if you are a member of, for example, UCARA or any other skirmish site, you can buy real imitation firearms. Another defence is if you're a reenactment or film production company, but this tends to be a bit rarer and I'm not going to go into this. Something else to note is if you are 18 or over, you can legally buy an imitation firearm as a gift for someone to keep, regardless of their age. And this is because the Violent Crimes Reduction Act only applies to the sale, manufacture or import of imitation and real imitation firearms. So basically, if you're a parent or guardian, you can legally buy an imitation firearm for a minor. As of the upload date of this video, there is no law that prevents this. Another thing to note, sellers of real imitation firearms do not have to be UCARA registered. UCARA just makes it easier to verify buyers because basically they have a database of all their skirmishers, and retailers who are UCARA registered can access this database to quickly verify buyers. For retailers that aren't registered under UCARA, they can still legally sell real imitation firearms. Now, real imitation firearms and imitation firearms, if they operate over a limit, if they are more powerful than a limit which I'm going to describe in a minute, then they are regarded as air weapons. And air weapons are different to airsoft and BB guns as described earlier, and air weapons can only be sold by registered firearms dealers. Now, for fully automatic guns, if they operate at over 1.3 joules, which is around 370 feet per second with 0.2 gram pellets, then they are regarded as air weapons. But for semi-automatic or single shot guns, if they operate at over 2.5 joules, which is about 520 feet per second with a 0.2 gram pellet, then they are regarded as air weapons too. Now, air weapons are defined as lethally barreled firearms. So the difference between an air weapon and an airsoft or BB gun is that air weapons are regarded as lethal, whereas airsoft and BB guns are not powerful enough to be regarded as lethal. Now, something else to note, if you're buying an airsoft or BB gun, some skirmish sites have their own FPS limits. So before you buy an airsoft gun, you should probably check with the site what their feet per second limit is. Something I want to just clarify, at Kingdom Airsoft we don't sell air weapons. Every firearm on our website is either an imitation or real imitation firearm, and nothing is an air weapon. So you don't need to worry about the feet per second limits, unless you want to downgrade if you're a skirmisher. Moving on to lasers. Now, lasers have different powers. There are different types and different strengths of lasers. And all lasers are classified under the laser safety standards, and it's called the EN 60825-1 safety standards. And the higher the class, the more powerful and dangerous the laser. Now, you can buy a laser or LED as long as it doesn't exceed class 2 of the laser safety standards. And basically lasers that are below class 2 are completely safe to the naked eye, and class 2 and over can actually cause damage to your eye, but it is illegal to sell a laser that is class 2 or above. So we will never ever sell a laser that is over class 1, and class 1 lasers are completely safe. And usually on a laser, if you have bought a laser, there should be test marks on the laser. And if it's not tested and you don't know what class it's in, then the seller should not have sold you it, because it should have been tested and classified by a UCAS accredited calibration laboratory before it should have been sold. As for remote control toys that are compatible with airsoft pellets, for example, there are remote control tanks that can fire BB pellets, there are remote control helicopters that can fire BB pellets. These remote control toys have no age restrictions for purchase. So basically, you can be any age and buy a remote control toy that can fire a BB pellet. Now, I think we've covered just about everything you need to know if you want to buy an airsoft related item. There's more information on our website if you want to read up on it. There's a link in the description of this video. Thanks very much for watching. Please comment if you have any questions, and rate and subscribe.